Good evening and welcome to Leeds Metropolitan News. I'm Helen Clark.
And I'm Alice Booth. The head's evening. Residents of Holbeck have raised concerns over plans to open a new refuge for prostitutes in the area.
Construction on Victoria Gate Shopping Centre is set to begin this week.
And what's your tip for this weekend's Grand National? First tonight, with planning permission granted for the conversion of a derelict house into a refuge for prostitutes, local residents are raising concerns. Our reporter, Henry Arnold, investigates. This report contains some strong imagery.
Residents of Holbeck have hit out over plans to turn this disused building into a centre for prostitutes. The outreach scheme run by the Joanna charity is hoping to help prostitutes get out of their line of work by providing showers, telephone services and hot meals to those in need. Jackie Hurd, the project coordinator of the Daytime Sanctuary, said, "It has been completely misunderstood. Our project is not to encourage prostitution, but to help find a solution. It is in that area, because that is where the women are. Our aim is to leave addiction and prostitution behind."
I suppose it's quite surprising, because I lived on Hare Hills Lane and prostitution's just sort of been eradicated from around there, so yeah, to find it somewhere else is quite a surprise.
Yeah, I'm in favour of it, although maybe I can understand that people who live in that area might well say they're lowering the tone of the area, as it were.
It's certainly not acceptable. If it was in an area where I was living, I would be objecting as well. But at the end of the day, what we've got to look at is we've got people who are involved with prostitution. It's the oldest profession in the world, and unless we do things more overtly, they'll go underground. And if the prostitute starts going underground, that's when you've got real health problems, real community safety problems. So if there is a location that is supportive by some parts of the local community, if the police find it acceptable and it isn't going to attract prostitutes from all over the place, then I'm willing to accept that at face value. The churches, my understanding as well, have also been supportive of it as well. So the third sector, the charitable side, I do see the need for.
Clearly this controversial issue is affecting many Leeds locals. I've been Henry Arnold.
Tomorrow evening, the car park on Union Street and George Street will close to make way for the Victoria Gate development. We spoke with the principal planner to find out views of the new construction.
Site where in 2016 this building site will become casinos, car park and restaurants, and it will create 1,500 jobs. As of Monday, this spot where I'm stood in will become a building site.
Yeah, well it's a quite a large major development, retail led but a mixed use development that will cover quite a large part of the city that's recently kind of got more degenerated in terms of its uses and development generally, so it's in quite a poor state at present. Partly because of the scheme, a lot of businesses have moved out as a result, but it was kind of going in that direction anyway, and it needs a kind of a facelift to bring it up to the same spec as the rest of the city. It's really positive for Leeds. As I said, it'll regenerate an area of the city that's really been deprived in terms of development lately and has missed out on a lot of opportunities in terms of the rest of the city, and Trinity obviously is pulled in one direction. So yeah, we feel it's a really positive thing, that it'll bring employment to Leeds. It'll regenerate the area. It'll bring new really attractive, iconic buildings to that area. So yeah, it's definitely a plus for the city.
Leeds has been given the green light from the government to create a £30 million super cycleway. The ambitious plans to create the 14-mile route will run from East Leeds to the western edge of the city before continuing into the centre of Bradford. The Department for Transport today agreed to pump £18 million into the scheme, with a further £11.2 million coming from local sources. It is hoped the cycleway will be up and running as early as March 2015.
Roadworks in the Leeds Inner Ring Road have been causing disruption for commuters today. Gasworks at Armley Mill have led to road closures and long tailbacks on the A58M. The works are set to continue over the weekend.
A paedophile from Leeds with over 700 copies of child pornography on his computer has escaped a jail sentence. Michael Sykes of Osthorpe in Leeds had 688 images and 70 films of child sexual abuse. 20 of the pictures and 10 of the films were classed as level 5 pornography, the most serious and the most shocking. He was convicted of over 11 counts of making indecent photographs of children, and he was sentenced to a 3-year community order with supervision.
A woman who manipulated a vulnerable pensioner into letting her into her home has been jailed for 2 years and 3 months. Lisa Gosney's actions were described as evil as she was sentenced. Stolen items included 120 in cash and family photographs, none of which has been recovered.
Leeds Teaching Hospitals had been fined £2.2 million for not meeting its targets. 90% of patients are supposed to be treated within 18 weeks of being referred by their doctor, however the Trust has failed to resolve this issue twice. They will also be reprimanded for exceeding their target on the number of patients infected with the potentially deadly hospital bug. The Trust is now looking at sending patients for private treatment and working on weekends. They say they're on track to hit targets by the end of May.
The Merrion Centre will be celebrating its 50th birthday next month. The shopping centre on Woodhouse Lane, which has attracted over 10.6 million visitors in the last year, is now worth over £116 million. It was the largest shopping centre in the UK when it opened in May 1964, and now the owners, the Ziff family, are asking for anyone with memories to get in touch. And now for the latest on this week's sports, let's go to Dave Purcell.
Thanks, Helen. The Grand National takes place this weekend, and with the punters already rushing to the bookies, we headed out to Leeds to see what the Leeds residents think of the World Cup of horse racing.
The Grand National is the biggest horse racing event of the year, with the competitors pushed to their limits for the prize of over £500,000. Betting shops are quickly filling up with big money to be won and lost on Saturday's race, but opinions across the city are split.
I think it's just a bit of fun once a year for people to let them have it.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? We've created this culture where it's almost acceptable, isn't it?
I think it's unfair because people are making money off horses when horses are getting put down, and they're not choosing to be taking part in it. It's kind of just bred for it.
The Grand National sees punters flocking to their local bookies this weekend, trying to win a fortune. But what's it all about? Ben Barrett gives an insight into this historic race.
Yeah, pretty much. Started in 1829. First winner was called Lottery. It was the favourite at the time. It's been run every year ever since, so 150 something now. It's obviously the biggest race of the year for just about every person. Everyone up and down the land normally stops and watches it. It's now on Channel 4, was the BBC. And it's just the one everyone looks forward to every single year. It's something a whole family can do. I mean, everyone, mum, dad, granny, uncle, everyone can sit down and watch the same race at the same time, and it's exciting, it's invigorating, it gets the blood pumping, it's brilliant. There are issues, obviously, with the fences and whatnot, but the safety of the fences has been improved drastically recently, and that can only be a good thing.
It's always tough to pick a winner, but you won't win if you don't try.
Leeds Rhinos have had a good start to their season. It may be early days, but things are going well for the club. We talked to Chris Jackson about all the possible opportunities that the...
I'm here with Chris Clarkson, who plays for Leeds Rhinos. Chris, how do you think the season's been going so far?
It's been going well so far. We only got our first loss last week. Up until that we were 100%, so it was against top of the league, and we knew it would be tough, but we gave us all, and we're third in the league now, so we're going pretty well, and still a long way to go, so still a lot more effort to put in.
And you're third in the lead. Has training been harder since St Helens beat you?
No, well, I don't know. I suppose it's been a bit tough on Wednesday, but we're used to it now. We get trained hard every day, and we just work hard towards the next game, and try and beat the next team.
And Jamie Jones's Buchanan is injured at this moment in time. Is that affecting the squad?
It'll be a massive loss for us, yeah. Obviously he's out for 10-12 weeks with a bicep injury. It'll be a big loss, but there's lads waiting to come in who can do just as good a job, and they'll be looking to get their opportunity and take it.
And it's the cup draw on Sunday. Is there anyone you're hoping to get or not?
Well, we're playing Wakefield, so like you say, we'll play them Sunday, and hopefully we'll beat them and get through to the next round. And I always love the Challenge Cup. We've got to Wembley quite a few times, but not won it, so we wanted to win it this year.
Times are tough for Leeds United at the moment, and with Massimo Cellino's takeover still uncertain, we headed to Leeds City Centre to find out what the fans think of the current affairs.
So to begin with, what are your thoughts of Massimo Cellino's block being
forced, so he can't take over at the moment?
I think he's probably the best of bad lot at the moment, so he's the only real chance we've got.
Right. Do you think it'll be a positive effect on Leeds' form at the moment?
Yeah, I think it will. Yeah, I don't think it can get any worse.
Yeah. Do you think his impact might help Leeds stay out of administration?
Well, yeah, if he comes in, then they should stay out of administration. If he doesn't, I don't know what the alternatives are going to be now, because I'm not convinced there's anybody else waiting in the wings.
Do you think his past convictions should really be a factor in his future job? Or?
I think there's a lot worse in English football. Roman Abramovich, for example.
Well, I suppose they've got to have some sort of restrictions in place. But it'd have been nice if they'd have made a decision much sooner so that they could have got on with finding somebody else or finding an alternative or even appealing. I think the process of blocking is fine, it's just it took way too long from the Football Association, from the Football League. They took way too long to do it.
Do you think his past convictions should be a factor when considering him for the job?
To an extent, yes, but some of his convictions that have been brought up haven't really been that relevant. Like the whole yacht thing, that's fair enough because it's tax fraud, which is completely fair because he might try that within the football club. So I can understand that, but there's some of his convictions that have been like, well, why are you even bringing that up? But yeah.
Do you think that Leeds' current form takeover would be a positive thing?
At the minute, yeah. How we're doing it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're doing a bit.
Do you think that due to Leeds' current form, a takeover would be positive for the team?
Definitely. Need a bit of a lift. The change always brings on a positive or negative result, but I think, with recent results, things can only really get better.
Leeds currently sit in 15th place of the Championship, following back-to-back defeats. If Massimo Celano were to take over the club, it could be the make-or-break moment of Leeds United's season. That's it for the sport. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Dave. Now over to the weather for this evening. There'll be fog for the rest of the day with highs of 11 and lows of 7 this evening, with light cloud over the region. Over the course of the weekend, it will remain warm with scattered showers. That's all from us tonight.
Thanks for watching. Good night.